Okay everyone, so as you can see I have finished adding those additional low frequency values, and basically you can see that we've got some very subtle strokes on the glass. So if I toggle it on and off, you can see that it has some very subtle effect. And this layer makes it look like there is some dirt gathering in the corners of the windows. Now I also added some additional values to the brushed metal, and basically you can see that we've got some very subtle highlights on those windows frames and also on those handles. And once again, I tried to keep all those large-scale, low-frequency values very subtle because we just want them to add a bit more interest to our texture. Okay, so now let's go and start adding some details. What I'm going to do is I'll go and add some rust maybe to the edges and the bottom of our door. And for that we're going to use some photos. So let's head to this folder and I'll go and see what kind of photos I have. So for instance, I kind of like this one. And as you can see, this object seems to be quite dirty and has some large amounts of rust at the bottom. And it also has plenty of scratches and so on. So let's try it. So let's open it in Photoshop. Now let's go and copy it. And here I'm going to go and paste it into Painted Metal group. So I'll press Ctrl V. Now let's go and try to position it so we can see what kind of values we can use. So for instance, I really like this rust at the bottom. And basically I think this will fit with the door nicely. So let's resize this image. And this time I'll go and drag those control points manually so we can have a better control over the position of all those details. Now we'll end up with some very subtle stretching, but I wouldn't worry about it. Just kind of try to position your texture within the element you want to affect. So here I want those details to be positioned only on those door panels. Right now we only want to add localized detail to the single elements of our door, and then we're going to mask out the excess of information. Okay, so now let's go and let's commit. And now let's go and let's remove the detail from all areas except for those door panels. So I'll go and create a mask for this. I'll head to the door panels layer. I'll make a selection from it. And now I'll simply go and make a mask for this layer here. Now the next thing I will do is I'll go and remove those hinges from this layer as well. Those hinges are supposed to be higher than the door panels, so it would be odd for some rust and scratches to overlap both elements. So let's find the hinges layer. Let's make a selection. Now let's find our photo overlay layer and let's simply press delete. Okay, and now when I move the camera around, you can see that we've got this red paint that seems to gather below the hinges. So basically we have some localized details in there. Okay, so now maybe let's go ahead and let's clean up this texture a little bit from noise using filters. So first I'll go to Surface Blur, and now I'll simply try to reduce the amount of blur a little bit. Okay. And when I turn the preview on and off, you can see that those noisy details start to disappear. And basically when I work with photo overlays, I try to avoid noise as much as possible. Okay, now we don't really want the door to be yellow because it kind of clashes with the rest of the color scheme we have. So what I'm gonna do is I'll try to remove everything from this layer except for the rust. And we can do that very easily. So I'll right click on this layer, go to blending options, and now here in this menu we've got this blend if section. And basically when I go and drag the slider down, you can see that all those bright values of this image will start to disappear, leaving only the rust. Right, so I'll try to adjust this slider a bit more. Okay. And now as you can see we've got this very sharp transition. So what I'm going to do is I'll go and press Alt on the slider, and then when I go and drag them around, you can see that they are split into two and we can control the fall off of the blend. So let's reduce this one a bit. Okay. Let's close this. And now as you can see with just a few steps we've added rust to our door. Okay, now let's go and let's clean up the result a bit. And basically I'm going to go and remove those details that go across multiple elements like those two panels. So I'll go and select the mask, then the brush, and I'll simply start painting those details with the black color. And as I do that, I'll begin to remove the unwanted details. So I'll simply go and try to remove some of those because I think there is way too many of them. And we don't want our texture to be too dirty. So I'll just keep going. Okay, and now I'll go and remove this bit as well, because it seems to be painted over some kind of an object in the image, and it clashes with the elements in our texture, so let's just remove it. Okay. Yeah, that should do it. Now, maybe let's go and let's remove those very noisy details here. Okay, I'll just keep painting them away. And basically just keep on going, trying to find the details you are not happy with. And basically I just try to keep my textures fairly clean, even when they are supposed to be damaged. Because later on we can also go and add some hand-painted damage ourselves without relying on photos. Maybe let's get rid of this bit. Okay, so now I think we are mostly finished, so as you can see, adding those type of details is very simple. So now let's maybe go and add some rust to this metal frame as well. So I'll go and maybe try to select this image here. And as you can see, we've got a photo of some kind of a metal beam, and that's very similar to the element we are working with. So let's open it. Okay, now let's copy it, and let's paste it here. Okay, and now I'll simply go and try to position it in place. So we've got the rust covering this whole frame. Now let's use retransform, and I'll simply go and zoom out, and I'll simply drag those handles around, and I'll make it look like there is a lot of rust at the bottom of this frame. And again, when you do that, you don't have to worry too much about stretching because it won't be too visible. Okay, now let's go and let's remove the unwanted details. So I'll go and try to find the door frames layer. Okay, and I'll simply go and make a selection from it. And now I'll go and apply the mask to this layer. Okay, now let's also go and let's find the hinges. And let's go and let's remove them from this layer as well. So again, let's make a selection. And let's simply press delete. Okay, now once again I'll go and use the blend option to remove those unwanted details. So I'll select this, and I'll simply go and drag those sliders around. Now I'll press Alt, and I'll play around with the fall off. Okay, that should do it. And now, as you can see, we've got way too much rust here, so we have to go and we have to remove it. But this time we will also try to control the actual shape of the rust. So I'll go and select the brush, and I'll go and select this square rough brush here. Okay, and now I'll go and select the mask. I'll make the brush a bit smaller, and I'll start painting with a black color. And now I'll simply go and I'll start removing those very large bits that seem to be way too big for those elements. And I'll try to keep the rust mostly to the edges and also the corners. And basically I'll just keep on going, and I'll just keep on doing this very quickly without thinking about it too much. And don't worry about those kind of blurry areas here. We're gonna remove that later. So I'll just keep on removing. Alright, now let's also maybe remove this bit here because it seems to overlap with the metal trim. Okay. And basically I'll just keep on going, and I'll try to remove more and more details. So let's remove this bit here, and maybe this bit here as well. Okay. And basically just keep on trying to add those details to the areas where it's plausible for water to collect or for the elements to be damaged. Okay, so let's stop for now, and maybe let's go and let's get rid of those blurry areas. So I'll make sure that my mask is selected. I'll go to Filter, Sharpen, Smart Sharpen, and here I'll basically go and drag this amount slider all the way to the right. And as you can see, this gets rid of those blurry areas and also increases the sharpness of the whole mask. So let's click OK, and now we should be able to get the basics of what we're gonna do. So I'll skip ahead and I'll go and try to add some rust to other areas of our texture, like this frame here. Maybe I'll go and add some licking marks to those panels there, maybe some dirt here as well. So basically this whole step is about looking at photos and trying to extract some interesting information. So I'll do all that in the meantime, and I'll see you in a second.